Every human being has the basic right to be joyful in order to avoid all of life's tribulations. Happiness is a natural state, much like the seasons and the sceneries. Suffering is unnatural, and it is only because of our ignorance that we suffer. Wisdom is the source of happiness. To achieve perfect wisdom, to fully comprehend the purpose of existence, to fully comprehend the relationship of human beings to one another, is to put an end to all suffering, to avoid all ills and evils that plague us. Unobscured joy is perfect wisdom. Why do we endure adversity in life? Because, in the grand scheme of things, we are being pushed forward in evolution, and we lack the spiritual illumination that can only illuminate the road, and allow us to safely navigate the hurdles that lie ahead of us. Typically, we do not detect or anticipate the presence of problem until it suddenly springs upon us like a hidden tiger. Our family circle will be complete and happy one day. A week later, death has passed, and joy has been replaced by agony. Today we have a visitor. We don't know why he'll be an adversary tomorrow. We used to have a lot of money and all kinds of material luxury. There was a rapid shift, and now we only have poverty and misery, and we look in vain for an explanation. There was a time when we had health and strength, but they have both left us with no explanation. Aside from the major tragedies of life, a plethora of minor misfortunes and heartaches are constantly inflicted upon us. We make every effort to avoid them, but we never notice them until they strike us, until we blunder into them in the darkness of our ignorance. We need the spiritual illumination that will allow us to gaze far and wide, discovering the hidden causes of human misery and showing the technique by which they might be avoided. And if we can only get enlightenment, the evolutionary trip will be both comfortable and rapid. It's like if we had to walk through a long, gloomy room filled with furniture strewn about. In the dark, our progress would be sluggish and painful, and our bruises would be numerous. But if we could simply click a button to switch on the electric light, we could travel the same journey in record time and comfort. The ancient style of education was to fill the mind with as many information, or claimed facts, as possible and to give the personality a certain outer polish. The notion held that when a man was born, he was a complete human being, and that all that could be done for him was to load him up with information that he could employ with more or less skill, depending on the inherent talent he was born with. The theosophical view is that the physical man, and everything that makes up his life in the physical world, is only a very partial reflection of the self, that each individual has practically unlimited power and wisdom in his or her ego. That these may be brought into physical manifestation as the physical body and its invisible counterparts, which together constitute the complex vehicle of the ego's manifestation, evolve and adapt to the purpose, and that spiritual illumination and wisdom will be attained in the exact proportion that conscious effort is given to such self-development. As a result, the light that leads to happiness is lighted from within, and the evolutionary journey that we are all on may be free of sorrow. Why does death bring so much pain? Specifically, it divides us from those we love. The only other reason death causes pain or terror is that we do not understand it and the role it plays in human evolution. But as our ignorance gives way to comprehension, such dread fades away and a calm happiness replaces it. Why do we have enemies whose words or actions cause us harm? Because we do not perceive the unity of all life in our limited physical consciousness and recognize that our wrong thinking and doing must react upon us through other people, a situation from which there is no possible escape except by ceasing to think evil and then patiently awaiting the time when the causes we have already generated are fully exhausted. When spiritual illumination arrives and we no longer stumble in the night of ignorance, the last enemy will vanish, and we will make no more for all time. Why are people afflicted with poverty and disease? It is only because of our blundering ignorance that they exist for us, and because we do not understand their meaning and teachings, nor do we know how to approach them. They would no longer bother us if we had the knowledge to realize why they come to people and why they are necessary factors in their progress. These wordless teachers will leave after nature's lesson has been properly grasped. So it is with all sorts of misery that we are subjected to. They are both reactions to our foolish blunders and teachers pointing out the better approach. When we have grasped the lessons, they teach that they are no longer essential and vanish. Men do not become wise and great by the acquisition of facts on the outside. It is done by cultivating the soul from within until it floods the brain with a flood of light known as genius. I hope you enjoy this video. If so, then make sure to like, subscribe and share to see more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching.